Hey everybody. So I wanted to talk today about where things are headed in society and if there's a way to fix them. And if there's a way... So I want to get to some basic facts about life. Rant said this in his book, Lessons of History. He was a historian. He said, life is competition. Competition is not only the life of trade, it is the trade of life. So we have to understand inherently in biology, when it comes to sexual selection, there's a competition to attract mates and etc. Now, the thing that I think people are aware of that, but I think people don't realize that much of that competition is not something you do consciously and deliberately. It is something that is innate, as in you're born with particular competitive aspects. You know, it's not really you that's consciously competing. It's more your genetic heritage, your genetic lineage, your DNA is competing. So it's more about, so you don't have, I guess, as much choice in it as you realize to control the outcomes and to control the competition. What I am saying, definitely you can improve yourself, and you definitely have a degree of control in your life, and I think you should use that control to its full extent. But you have to realize that the competition of life is something that makes it terrible, but also very exciting. You know? It's very motivating to think that you have to try your best and you have to be better than others to succeed, right? There's a motivation element in that. It makes you want to, work out or become successful, etc. a lot more than if you just realized that everything was going to be handed to you in life, right? And I completely understand that the incel community is filled with people that have trouble forming relationships because they are physically unattractive, and there's almost no way out that they believe. They believe that there's no way out of that situation. I'm going to always say that, always cling on to. Hold on, let me gather my thoughts. So I'll tell you what happened last night. How about that? So last night I was walking home from the subway. I was out. It was interesting. I met a few random women, and I got their number. I got a lot of rejections because on a Saturday night, women they reject guys unless they're a particular caliber, right? And like a lot of guys are hitting on the girls, so they reject the guys a lot. But I got some girls, I got their number, and on my way back, I met this girl. I thought she was attractive at first, right? But she was wearing a mask, so I couldn't notice it. She was taller than me. It was kind of weird. She was taller than me, and talked to her for a bit, and then she as I'm talking to her before we're parting ways, she helped me get to where I was going. I asked her directions. It was really late at night. It was 3:00 in the morning kind of thing, and I'm talking to her for a bit, and then I talk to her. She tells me that she's bi, and I tell her, "Oh, I just had a friend over here that was bi, and my former ex was bi, and blah blah blah." And then I showed her an image of her, and I was talking to her for a bit, and then she was like, she got excited by that. And as I continued talking about my ex, she says, "This is going to sound kind of random. Can I make out with you before we go?" She said that she wanted to make out with me before she left, and remember this, man. I didn't see her face or anything. I didn't know what she looked like, so I was like, "All right, fine." And then she takes off her mask, and I'm like, she wasn't terrible looking, but she wasn't good looking, right? So we were making out, and then I held her hand. I was like, all right, I could just get laid really easily now. Let's just do it. And I grab her hand, I bring her to my place, and we had sex, but man, I was so unattracted to this girl. It was not good. So here's what I'm saying, guys. This is one of the big issues. Like most guys are really not satisfied with getting with very unattractive women or girls that they're not into. They would rather be alone, and I think that's a good thing to do. Just be alone. You don't because of loneliness. Do not go for girls that you don't like. Just don't do it. You'll be unsatisfied. Trust me on that. Don't go for girls that you are repulsed by just because you're lonely. And that's kind of what I did, because I broke up with my I broke up with my ex, and that's what happened. And basically, I was lonely, and I went to any sort of chick that would come by, easily. So I'm curious where things are headed in a larger context. Like, where is society headed? I'm going to be doing a lot more reading and study on this stuff and making more intellectual type videos. Right now I'm improvising everything I'm saying. So, but I think here's the situation. All right. If we look at it really logically, one, we have to keep in mind that the planet is dying. We have nature dying. We're in something called the sixth great mass extinction right now. So we're losing between 200 to 300 species of plant, animal, insect, and fish every single day. And the truth of the matter is, people don't realize this because we're in such a unnatural life. We're living such unnatural lives. The truth is that we need nature to survive as humans. We have more people on the planet than there has ever been in the history of the planet. So we have an abundance of humans, which is also growing exponentially because we have such comfortable living situations in comparison to other species of animal, right? We have much more comfortable living situations, much more ideal for reproduction. So we're reproducing a lot faster than other animals. Plus, we are there's an abundance of us while they are going extinct. And basically, we don't realize that nature is dying, and without nature, we can't survive. And it's dying a lot faster than people realize. And resulting from these situations, there's going to be societal collapse. There's going to be different regions of the world that are going to be fighting for food. There's going to be lowered oxygen content because of plankton in the ocean, which gives off about 40% of the Earth's oxygen, is dying off. All these things are going to create more and more societal problems. Unless something happens, unless people change the direction of it, they're going to cause more and more problems, and they're going to directly contribute to incel situations, social situations, loneliness, negative social interactions that people have, negative energy. They're going to contribute to it significantly. Times of opulence and times of resources are generally the happiest times in human history, right? And times of depravity usually cause a lot of issues: war, fighting, societal problems, division. So, I think also with the difficulty, one thing that really does scare me is the amount of incel type guys I'm seeing. The amount is staggering. It's the majority. The majority of men are incels. The majority of men. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. Yeah, you can there's even unattractive guys, very luckily, once in a blue moon, can get a girl to sleep with them. Once in a blue moon. Rarely. It can happen. But that doesn't change the reality that men have a sex drive that is high, generally speaking, and women don't. And basically, they have a sex drive that's high, and they have a strong desire for women majority of the time, right? Majority of guys have a strong desire for women, not just sexually, but also emotionally. They need some sort of like approval from women, some sort of companionship, etc., and they're not getting it. We're having a harem type society where the majority of women are going to a minority of men. And they are like, you're getting like, in the past, in hunter-gatherer societies, it used to be 17 women per one man. In different regions of the world, they still have stuff like this. Like in the Middle East, it's very common for men to have several wives, right? So we're living in a very harem type society. And that means that few men get majority of the women, and then a significant of men don't get anything. And that the scary thing is the mental health of that group of men. I'm afraid that there's going to be a lot more things like, I fear that there's going to be a lot more like crimes coming from this group of men. There's going to be a lot more like, there's the Alec Manasseh, and there's the other shooters that they would target women, etc. I'm afraid there's going to be a lot more Elliot Rodger type scenarios occurring in the near future, and I wish there was a way to fix that. I think I think the black pill community definitely stopped a lot of these things from happening. People think that the black pill community was the cause for this, but I don't think so. I think the black pill community definitely found a form of escape for these people to discuss their issues, because you can't really talk about these issues because they're so taboo in society. If you see a therapist, therapists don't even know these things. They're not even aware of the black pill. They will, they won't give you any use. They generally won't give you useful information. So the black pill community is, they're giving out information that is just not common to find, and very useful and important. Anyways, guys, I want you guys to continue improving yourself. Realize that life is competition inherently. We are basically, what Richard Dawkins says? He says that human beings are gene machines, that the first life forms were created out of pure chance. The rarity of something occurring decreases the times you do it. So for instance, if you roll 1,000 die, and the chances of all of those 1,000 die landing on heads is 1 in like several trillion, right? But if you roll that die trillions of time, it's likely that one of those times all of them will land heads. All of them will land on 6, right? So that's how he believes that life on our planet was created, through random combinations of atoms forming together to create something what are called replicators, which are things that replicate themselves, all right? Like cells, for instance, are replicators. But cells are the machine. They are the they are the machine operating from the gene. The gene is the actual replicator, and it creates cells in order to help it expand and survive. And it also, from those cells, over time, were created, animals, bodies, fish, all these things, which are actually machines. They're gene machines. They help keep the replicator to survive. And that's how he believes that all life on our planet is from that source, replicators. And it is interesting because all animal life, all plants, everything, it all has DNA and it all has genes. So I think there's truth to that. But so realize that life is competition. It is inherently like that, and you're going to have to try your best in it. Yes, it's true that much of the competition is not in your control. what you could do in regards to competition, but do everything you can in it to achieve your own personal success. I'm not trying to sound like self-help, but truth of the matter is that the greatest happiness either comes from achieving your potential or going to the process of going towards it. It's not always the destination, but the journey. So the journey is a much better one than the one of putting your head down and sitting in a corner and crying. All right? That is not a journey you would want to go down. Okay, I have not achieved a lot of my dreams, but I'll tell you, the process of achieving them brought a lot more the greatness into my life. Okay, the process and happiness and fulfillment into my life from the pursuit of dreams and goals. Right, so that's what I say you guys do. I think it's trying and failing is better than not doing anything and crying in a corner like majority of the black pill community is doing. Anyways, I'm going to leave you guys with that. I kind of went on a tangent. And good luck out there, and be careful and try to send positive energy to people, especially incel type dudes who need it. All right, later guys.